The Supreme Court is allowing a controversial Texas abortion law to remain in place. In a 5-4 decision announced late last night, the justices refused to block the legislation. It's the most restrictive law of its kind in the country. Ben Tracy is following this story for us. Ben, good morning.
Anne-Marie, good morning. In her dissent, Justice Sonia Sotomayor called the court's decision stunning. She says that this Texas law flouts nearly 50 years of federal precedent. But for now, this law, which does ban abortion after just 6 weeks, which is before most women even know they're pregnant, will remain in place. Abortion rights protesters at the Texas state capitol Wednesday vowed to keep fighting.
It is our right, our individual right, to choose whether and when we're going to have children.
Across Texas, abortion providers warn they may have to close their doors and that the new law will only lead to illegal and dangerous abortions.
Medical professionals, clergy members especially, that were around before Roe v. Wade in '73 can tell you the horror stories.
The Texas law bans abortion once a so-called fetal heartbeat is detected, usually around 6 weeks. It also seemingly contradicts the Supreme Court decision in Roe v. Wade, which guarantees the right to abortion until fetal viability, which is about 22 to 24 weeks. The Texas law also allows any private citizen to sue someone helping a woman get an abortion, which includes doctors, clinic staff, or even someone who drives a woman to a clinic. Those who win a lawsuit can be awarded at least $10,000.
Those are the ones who are breaking the law, who will be held liable for their criminal activity.
Elizabeth Graham is vice president of Texas Right to Life. She says anti-abortion advocates are now focused on a Mississippi case the Supreme Court will hear this fall that could overturn Roe v. Wade.
The justices will either have to strike down Roe or say that life can be protected at this stage. And if life can be protected at this stage, we thereby concede that Roe was a judicial concoction and is now no longer the law or the precedent of the land.
Now, that Mississippi law bans abortion after 15 weeks of pregnancy, and supporters of that are hoping that the court here, the conservative majority at the Supreme Court, will use that to overturn Roe v. Wade. Anne-Marie?
Yeah, a number of states have sort of attempted to introduce these heartbeat laws, but the law in Texas is really interesting because of something you mentioned in your piece, that the law is written so that private citizens can file lawsuits against people helping someone get an abortion. And we're not just talking about the abortion providers, as you mentioned, somebody driving someone to a clinic, maybe somebody counseling someone about abortion. All of those people could be subjected to a lawsuit by a private citizen. How has that impacted court challenges to this law?
Yeah, so this is specifically written to evade federal review. Generally, if you have a law like this on the books in a state, it would be state officials or local officials that are enforcing that law, and there would be criminal penalties. But this law is actually written in a way that it prohibits state officials from enforcing it. Instead, as you mentioned, it allows private citizens to do that. So they can sue anybody who is involved in providing an abortion in Texas after 6 weeks of pregnancy. Those people can get $10,000. So this basically sets up a scheme in Texas whereby you have individual people enforcing this law through civil court, not through state court, which would find its way more quickly up to federal courts if it's challenged.
So in the minority, or rather the majority opinion, the justices said that they were not making a decision on the constitutionality of the law. What could that mean for challenges to the law going forward?
It means the court is still open to it. So if a challenge is made to this law in Texas, which it certainly will, whether or not that gets back up to the Supreme Court is an open question. But the court is basically saying we're not ruling on the constitutionality of this. We're not saying this is actually okay. We're just saying that you need to work this through the courts before you get it to us, and we're really going to review it. And, Justice Roberts, who said he joined the liberals in dissenting against this, he called this statutory scheme in Texas not only unusual, but unprecedented. He went on to say that they have imposed a prohibition on abortions that essentially delegates the enforcement of that to the populace and not the state. So certainly there are some strong feelings about this law in Texas here at the Supreme Court, but it's going to take some time to get back to the court for them to actually review it.
And the law went into effect yesterday. What impact is it having on medical providers and patients in Texas?
It's having an immediate impact. We're hearing about some clinics that are warning that they're going to have to close their doors. I talked to a woman yesterday who runs 4 clinics in Texas, and she said it is heartbreaking that they're having to tell patients that they can no longer serve them, people that they could have served on Tuesday but were not able to serve on Wednesday. She said there's a lot of confusion there in Texas, and clearly a lot of folks down there are worried that this is simply going to lead to illegal and dangerous abortion.
Yeah, I'm sure. Ben, thank you very much.